Are we on the air?
Yes, you are.
It's OTA Live, home of the Mega City Countdown. What up? Ty Harper, Rez Digital hanging out. Paying homage, man. Michael Jackson, rest in peace. Roundtable style edition of OTA Talk. We were supposed to have a regular OTA Talk tonight, but nah, man. You don't have to change it up. 2 hours. Got people coming in and out. Now joining us, DJ starting from scratch.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, man? P Plus, what up?
What up?
Who's over there? Ian Andre Espinet. What's going on,
in the building.
Man? Welcome, man.
We got like 3 heavy, real, serious fans in the building right now.
We got 5.
True.
5 heads.
Well, we're joined by.
Yes.
And I want to start off by asking you guys the first question we asked everyone else. First Michael Jackson song that made you a fan. Start with scratch.
I couldn't even tell you, to be honest. I mean, I pretty much have lived my whole life, being a Michael Jackson fan. So I really can't pinpoint like that one. I can't say that was the one that made me a fan because, I mean, growing up, my mom was huge into Motown. So I always had the Smokies and the Four Tops and all that influence in my life.
Right,
so
right.
Yeah.
along then came the Jackson 5, right? So I couldn't even begin to tell you, to be honest. I've just been, since I was a wee kid, I'm a Jackson fan.
Okay, Pete.
I mean, the same as me, and I think too, like when you have parents that really grew up loving like music, you don't necessarily pinpoint an artist because back when Michael was younger, it's not like someone said, "Hey, I love Mike." People love the Jackson 5 and then really loved his voice as a kid, but you really love the group as a group. So, I mean, I couldn't even say the same thing. It'd be hard for me to say that. Sorry.
Aren't you glad you asked this question, Ty? What a way to start it off.
Damn DJs.
My first memory, my first cognizant memory is my mother saying that I better, because I was running around the house singing "The Love You Save," and she was like, "You better save your book. You better study your books and stop dancing, and unless you're on stage with 4 of your brothers."
Wow.
But I think the first cognizant memory of Michael Jackson, me knowing he was Michael and connecting him to the original one, was probably Human Nature.
Yeah.
There was a tremendous outpouring of love via the internet. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm
still going.
I'm on Facebook. I only have I'm only in the hundreds. I'm a wee young Facebooker. But I could just imagine what it was like for people that have like crazy amounts of friends.
Yeah.
It was retarded. But on the flip side, a lot of the criticisms leveled at people that were outpouring all this love, and you're going to get that, is why do you guys care so much about someone that you didn't know? People die every day. Look what's happening in Iran. Is that a fair criticism to be passing? And anyone can take this one.
I absolutely think it is, but I mean, that's coming from, like, just for instance, like today, I took it really hard today. I don't know why it hit me so hard. I mean, I'm a diehard Michael Jackson fan, don't get me wrong, but it's just certain things will hit you. Like when I was doing the mix show at 7 and somebody texted me just before I went on the air, and they said, "I don't envy you, this is gonna be a hard job for you." And it didn't really hit me, and I had my one arm wiping my tears on my right arm, and I'm trying to mix with my left arm. You know what I mean? And as I was doing it, as I was playing, I was like, why is this happening to me? And then every song I would play, I would cry harder, and I would cry harder, and I was like, why is this happening to me? And it's hard to explain, but I think it's easier for me to say it because A, I'm a music fan, B, I'm a DJ, you know what I mean? So like, I'm always listening to Michael. And I actually thought about this when I was driving home today. I was like, why is there such a connection? Especially with Michael Jackson, being that, like, if Prince, knock on wood, heaven forbid, should pass away, would I take it as hard? I don't think I would. And I'm a diehard Prince fan. I think it's just a connection, being that Michael's more media mainstream, you know what I mean? We grew up watching the videos of Michael, you know what I mean? It's always Michael drama. It's Michael's family, extended family. So if it's not Michael, it's Janet, but it's still connection.
Yeah.
So you just feel like you're part of that family, you know what I mean? And you grow up and you hear him from his brothers to himself, to his sisters, to his other brothers, you know what I mean? And you're seeing like the TV shows and da-da-da-da-da. It's just, he's one of those guys that you just really, how they felt about Elvis, same with John Lennon, you know what I mean? There's just a personal connection with certain people, and for some reason, Michael is just that guy. Like, you really thought he was somebody you knew.
Yeah, and you touched on that, why did it happen? I felt exactly the same way when Aaliyah passed.
Yeah.
Because I remember specifically, like, I wasn't the biggest Aaliyah discography fan. I loved what she represented as a person, like in terms of media, how she carried herself. When she passed away, I think Bilal, who's like my all-time favorite soul singer, was coming here. I think he was at the X. I drove all the way down there and I just couldn't go. I turned around and went back home and I couldn't understand it. I think as well too, the question you got to ask yourself, if you're wondering why people are taking this so hard, is why don't you have a fan? I mean, somebody
that you're a fan of.
Someone that you're a fan of so deeply that you get hit that hard when you lose them.
Yeah.
I think because of the way music is, because of how quickly we get things and throw them away and take them in and get desensitized to the entire music loving process, there's a lot of people that just do not understand that. And I think that in itself might be unfortunate in terms of people just not understanding why Michael Jackson was so important to so many people.
But a lot of times when you're looking at life, we sometimes have to separate life from like what's being brought to the media. Michael Jackson was a human being, and if you're like dealing with a lot of like situations, depending on where you come from, death is a very constant thing. Some people deal with death differently. Now, I've had a lot of people that passed away for good reasons, bad reasons, whatever it may be. And the same way I felt about my brother Black Eye passing away is almost as equivalent as how I felt about the way Mike passed away. So when I heard the news, I was more happy than I was sad, for the reason being is because I think his life should be celebrated. He did a lot of good things. Yes, there's bad things in the media, but in terms of what he contributed to other people's lives, that should be celebrated. And Black Eye did the same thing. And I feel like often when we lose somebody, maybe we're mourning for selfish reasons. Yeah, we want them back. Yes, we want the most amazing music, but we should also celebrate what they did, their past, and how it affected others and how it affected us as well.
We're talking about the media as well too, and we're talking about the idea of death in the media. We're in a hugely media-driven life, society. It is what it is. Do you think that, and I was talking to, I think it was probably Mayhem or Callie about this before they left, do you think that death is one of those things that when it comes to the media, people need to be more sacred in how they approach talking about it when it happens? Like, when I look at how we learned about Michael Jackson passing, and I think about the fact that there was probably a lot of people really close to Michael Jackson that probably didn't even hear about it until someone who just got a Twitter or a tweet told them. Do you think that maybe whether you're a journalist, whether you're just someone that's tweeting, death is the one thing that we need to like draw the line on and being really responsible when we're doing that kind of stuff on the internet?
Absolutely, but how many, they're journalists. How many of them have tact, really and truly? That's their job. You can't really wrong. I was very disappointed with the way TMZ did it, because even the way they wrote the description of the way he died, it was just like he was a piece of paper. It was just like, Michael Jackson dead, he did such and such and such, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, this is Michael Jackson. This is not, Joe Blow, who, no disrespect to anybody that's passed. Everybody deserves their due credit, but this is Michael Jackson.
But it's just, it's even that you're touching on it, but it's death.
It's death. And it's death to Michael Jackson. There will always be a difference. You know what I mean? It could be me, it could be you, it could be anybody. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is there has to be, I don't wrong them because I don't think artists or websites and stuff like TMZ ever have tact, period. They're smash journalists. They just get whatever's out. If Paris, shows her booty on the stage, it's out there. So if Michael passed away, this is the biggest news we're probably going to have for a long time. You know what I mean? So they got to do it. I was just disappointed in the way it was portrayed. Like you said, I heard you on the way up talking about how CNN was the only one that was tactful. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I did,
yeah.
but I was also kind of irked by CNN because they were playing it kind of passive too. Like, instead of just sitting there talking about him, showing all his videos, let's hear what's actually happening. You know what I mean? Instead of keep showing clips of him dancing with Cher.
But let me say something though. I don't really know,
info, though.
but I don't really know how much information they have, because what I actually do respect, because I was before you came to check me, I was actually sitting there watching it, and what I really liked was the fact that they got the information from the coroner who did the inquiry.
Exactly. Well, they had to wait. Yeah.